Hey everybody, Joseph Rothschild here, aka
I've drawn up some blueprints of the gingerbread house that we're building.
MBT.
That's the wrong drawing. Here we go.
Viewer Collins once again.
I know. I said I was going to throw it away. My bad.
And we are back with another thread. Today we're talking about Yu-Gi-Oh cards in real life. By 2015, this will be Yu-Gi-Oh! Now, we've done a topic adjacent to this one before, references found in Yu-Gi-Oh cards, but this time I want to narrow the focus and talk specifically about cards that have a real-world analog. While Konami's no stranger to making cards that are based off a movie or a video game, an IP, or just the concept that VTubers are largely smelly lesbians, these take inspiration from real-world creations or works, and I'm going to begin with this. Each of the Earthbound immortals maps onto a geoglyph found in Peru, the Nazca lines. This one, for instance, Alapisu, maps to the hummingbird. These were created by arranging stones and placing impressions in the ground long before we had anything resembling aerial camera views. So it's kind of a weird mystery as to both why and how these were made so efficiently, elegantly, and beautifully. One more interesting part about the Nazca lines is that Konami actually predicted one of them. The ultimate boss of the Earthbound immortals, Red Nova, is the snake, and there is no snake geoglyph. Or at least there wasn't until a couple of years after print in which one was discovered. Did Konami go back in time to make their cards period accurate? Who can say? Let's see what you all came up with. Dyer has a good one. The sprites are all inspired by different types of upper atmospheric lightning. This is why they have a pseudo fighter pilot theme with their jackets. They're meant to be super high up in the atmosphere. And Carrot is called Carrot because the tendrils look like carrots. You'd see Elf, Spright, Blue, Jet, positive ground of Flash with Spider Lightning. You could get Spider. This is an interesting one. Big Benkei, Super Heavy Samurai Monk Big Benkei, and I believe also Armed Samurai Benkei are all references to a real guy, the warrior monk Benkei. This guy's famous for dying while standing up. This is called the Standing Death of Benkei. Think I wish. This is a really interesting one. Legend says he died when a spell card entered the graveyard. This is one everybody probably knows, but the Paleozoics, a Korean world premiere, are based off creatures from the Paleozoic era. More specifically, fossils found in the Burgess Shale, which is why their original name was transliterated to Burgestorma. I don't know. I think it's neat. They're fun. Okay, I had to look this one up because it is really interesting, but it says ancient gears are based on Roman soldiers, at least the early ones are, and the gear at issue is the Antikythera mechanism, a machine that really shouldn't exist, a hand-powered model of the solar system, and the oldest known example of an analog computer. What do you do if you're just like an archaeologist, you're digging around a Roman gravesite, and all of a sudden you see like what appears to be a modern gear? You go, wait, what the fuck? And that's what people did. Chronomalies, yeah, this is a great one. Chronomaly, based on Oop arts, out-of-place artifacts, are all basically like ancient technology found from defunct civilizations that shouldn't be possible. Every single one of these cards is a rabbit hole in like a cryptid lore. Really spend a lot of time just looking at all the chronomalies and you will fall down so many rabbit holes, you'll have a great afternoon. The Nebradisc, the Crystal Skull, all of them are fucking awesome. Trevor Allen's got a good one. I like what they were going for with crawlers. There's a lot of creative space to explore. I'm disappointed they picked some simple ones like Spine and Receptor. Can't wait for future support Nissel, Fascicula Cuinate, Juxtaperonde, and Schmidt-Lanterman Incisor. Oh boy, I hope no one here is in med school because I'm sure I fucked those up. But yeah, this is interesting. Every crawler is named after a discrete part of the nervous system. Most of them, neuron. A soma is the cumulative neuronal cell body, as I'm reading off this sheet. Synapsis, of course. We've got Ranvener, the dendrites. It's cool. It's cool. I like it a lot. I'm a big fan of the Infinitrack monsters taking inspiration from real-life construction and mining vehicles. This is not going to be the last you hear of the Infinitracks. There are so many people that are so into trains that have mapped these guys out to infinity, if you'll forgive the pun. But River Stormer is based on the Hungarian firefighting tank Big Wind. Okay, this is the coolest fucking thing I've ever seen. This is a real machine. Someone's job is to ride around in this and put out fires? That's crazy. Snazzy's got an interesting one and says, I always thought the Dinowrestlers taking influence from real-world martial arts were pretty interesting. Pancration, IKF Draka, Capoeira, Savate, etc. That's awesome, and also explains the fact that I don't know how to pronounce any of these names. I mean, how am I supposed to accurately pronounce a non-English word describing a martial art that's been made into a portmanteau with a dinosaur's genus? It's just not going to happen. They're setting me up for failure. Giant Skyhawk's got a funny one. Miscellaneousaurus is a reference to the fact that a significant amount of dinosaur fossils were cobbled together to create, like, dinosaurs that just straight up never existed, based on assumptions that they were all part of the same species. In fact, this specific card, Miscellaneousaurus, may be a reference to Hatcher, which is a triceratops that was at the Smithsonian for a long time, but was actually made up of parts of a whole bunch of different triceratops and feet from a dinosaur that was not even a triceratops. Oh, this one's like impossible to talk about. The Magic-y monsters all are named after demons in a work called the Lesser Keys of Solomon, part of the Ars Goetia. Ashtartu is Astaroth, Clavicus and Mafti are the Key of Solomon, and it explains why there's like a million monsters in this archetype that are just like totally unpronounceable, like Enstyabolus. Okay, we're back on the train bullshit. Let's check this out. Derricrane is a JNR class Double D51. Night Express is a Shinkansen, and Anger Knuckle is an FM H1044 switcher. We're not even done. I like these plains ones. The Sky Striker archetype is based off the Japanese Mitsubishi A6M0, piloted by the Japanese Navy during World War II. It was nicknamed the Raisen, or Ray, by the Japanese, and the Zeke by the Allied, which of course are two monsters in the Sky Striker lineup. I will say, though, what were the Japanese doing with this plane during World War II? Because if my memory serves, World War II was fought between... A Silver Sentinel is a real guy. It's expected this is based on a real person. A super deadly Finnish sniper who has over 500 confirmed kills. Yes, just like the copy pasta. This one's cool. Virtual World is a reference to the real-life Kowloon walled city, an unregulated and overpopulated section of Hong Kong that was demolished in the 90s. This is a really interesting story, and there's a banger, like, 11-minute doc on YouTube about it if you want to go check it out. But the short of it is, due to series of imperial conquests by Britain, there just ended up being this portion of Hong Kong that didn't show up on maps and wasn't correctly zoned. So it wasn't really in anyone's jurisdiction, and as a result, there were no building codes. So people built, like in Uzumaki, like row houses on top of row houses on top of row houses. A couple of really interesting businesses flourished here. Of course, sex, but also pewter smelting, which had been outlawed in Hong Kong. Horse meat, which was enjoyed by the populace but had recently been banned, was still available in the walled city. And an extremely corrupt dentistry regime in Hong Kong meant that licenses to practice dentistry were really difficult to come by, so people who had gone to school to become a dentist occasionally practiced on the ground floor of the Kowloon walled city. Speaking of the ground floor, it was like in perpetual twilight because everything was so dense that sunlight very rarely made it all the way down. Again, really, really interesting rabbit hole to go into. He's real. Don't tell me he's not real. Don't even think about it. Have you guys seen the Chusidoko video? It's him! He's real! Is a good one, of course. Everybody loves Slifer the Sky Dragon, a reference to real-life 4Kids employee John Slifer. I don't think his name was John Slifer. But yes, Osiris the Sky Dragon had its name changed when it came to the 4Kids anime to just one of the executive producers. Wait, Slifer the executive producer wasn't just a bit? No, it was real. Mooyan Curry is a reference to a real place called Mooyan Curry. This is fun. It's like the people who were making the first couple of sets of Yu-Gi-Oh! Just liked the curry at this local shop, but they were like, fuck it, put it in the game. Oh, the place is still running! Fucking, please. Let's see what it's like.
This curry restaurant in Tokyo is so good, there's a Yu-Gi-Oh card named after it. They've got two of the best words in the English language combined into one phrase. Curry buffet. The vibe in here is confusing yet comfortable. Each of their curries takes about 2 weeks to make, which is exactly how long it took Nintendo to make New Horizons. My bad, I'm sorry, I didn't...
Dude, can he fucking say that? And more fucking trains. These are based on World War II German artillery tanks. I don't think any of them looked like that, but I buy it. This one was a really cool rabbit hole to go down. The origins of Grand Guignol the Dusk Dragon are that it's based on the Théâtre du Grand Guignol, which I hope I'm saying right if there's any French people in the audience. It's a theater in Paris from the late 19th to mid 20th century that showed a very specific type of play. At this theater, they did what were called horror plays, these little vignettes that were extremely graphic and bloody and disturbing. And they didn't skimp on the graphicness. There was blood everywhere, gross, repulsive things. If you go look up some of the little plays that they were doing, it would be like a short story in which a doctor shows up, does a horrible operation to a man who wronged him by sleeping with his wife, turns him into a mindless zombie, and then the man goes insane and kills everybody in the play. Kind of a sad ending to this one. People kind of stopped going to the Grand Guignol after the Holocaust The guy who owned the place was like, everyone had just kind of had their fill of like abject horror. He said something along the lines of, there's nothing we could do that could top Buchenwald, which is like, oh man, that's rough. That's a dark one, huh? Aleister the Invoker, of course, is Aleister Crowley. Very famous occultic figure. The Book of the Law is just straight up a book that he wrote. Oh, and I did not know that Awas was his spiritual protector while doing magic. I like this one a lot. Fluonderies are actually an archetype of real birds. The Arctic tern migrates from the Arctic Circle to the Antarctic Circle. So all the little places they go on the way are them making it from Snowell to Empen. Shout out to the card that's just a real location in Australia. It's crazy to me that this thing exists. Ayers Rock, retcon to Uluru, the name that Aboriginal people gave this big-ass monstrosity, is, wow, I mean, it's just huge. This is like an extremely important site, both for tourists, but also for Aboriginal peoples in Australia, and it's really not hard to see why. Like, if I saw a sandstone monolith of this size sprouting out of the earth, I'd be like, that's probably pretty important. Yeah, they literally made a card based on my dad. You can't be saying shit like that. Come on. Yes, it's fun when Yu-Gi-Oh! Takes inspiration from other IPs, but I also really like when they take inspiration from real life. It's awesome to think I could go play Asclepisu at Asclepisu. I know this might sound crazy to you, but Air Neos, the most popular of all the Neos fusions, is actually a reference to the comics hero ravedactyl. You know, I kind of see it.